What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of What I Watched, this time covering everything that I watched in the month of December 2023. Yes, I know this video is extremely late, but let's not waste any more time and get into it. Obviously, most of the things that I watched in the month of December are going to be Christmas themed, so let's get right into it. First up, we got The Holdovers, which is honestly probably a new Christmas classic by Christopher Payne, Alexander Payne, I believe, and the main actor, other than Paul Giamatti, the main student, it's his first role. He was phenomenal. Everybody in that film is phenomenal. Definitely want to go back and rewatch that. I am going to go through this episode a little bit quicker than usual just because it's not Christmas anymore. I want to get past these. So next up, we have Silent Night, the newest film from John Woo starring Joel Kinnaman. I saw this in theaters. There was one other guy in the theater. There was a few moments that I really enjoyed. The opening fight sequences I thought were really well done, but after the first 30 minutes, I was like, really in a lull. The rest of the movie was very predictable, which I wasn't expecting anything too crazy story-wise, but I would have at least liked some more consistent action. Next up, we have Christmas with the Cranks. This is not necessarily a great film, but I watch it every single year. I really do like Christmas with the Cranks. I love the first Santa Claus, Santa Claus 1 and 2. I like Tim Allen in those roles, but I like him here, and I think him and Jamie Lee Curtis really work well together. After that, we got Four Christmases. This is the 2008 Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon film where they have to go spend 4 Christmases, I guess. It's like 4 days or 2 days, something like that, where they have to visit every single family member, essentially, and hijinks ensue. But I enjoy 4 Christmases. I think Jon Favreau's hilarious in it. It's a dumb, easy movie to just throw on, fall asleep to, wake up, whatever. It's just an easy, fun time. Again, just like Christmas with the Cranks, not a great film, but enjoyable enough. After that, watched a documentary. This was, I believe, the only full-length feature documentary that I watched in 2023, and that was David Holmes, The Boy Who Lived. This was a really tough watch because it's about the stunt double who got paralyzed while working on the final Harry Potter film. And it's a rough watch just because, this dude's whole livelihood was taken away from him, and obviously that was his job. He knew risks, but it shouldn't have happened at all, and the way that it happened, it was a horrible accident. It was very interesting to see how he's moved on, how he still connects with Daniel Radcliffe and some of the other stunt doubles. It's an interesting story. I believe it's on HBO Max, and it's worth a watch if you like Harry Potter. Next up, we got the Netflix animated film Klaus from 2019. I don't have much to say about this film other than it's really enjoyable. I like darker films. I'm a huge horror fan, so to see a animated film that is still for families and kids that has darker tones, that's also about Santa, it just all works for me. If I would have seen this when I was growing up, I would have absolutely loved this film. Next up, a film that everybody seemed to love that I did not, and that was May December. I think the performances are fantastic. There's nothing wrong with the performances. It's just a story that I find so creepy, especially since it's based off a true story, that I don't know. It's not a story that's necessarily enjoyable. It's not necessarily supposed to be super enjoyable. I didn't get what I guess I expected to get out of that film, which can sometimes be a good thing, sometimes be a bad thing. I didn't connect with the film. Next up is Please Don't Destroy the Treasure of Foggy Mountain. This is done by a trio of comedians that work on SNL, and it doesn't totally work. It is really, honestly, it's one long SNL skit, and you can feel that in the writing, but it just like some other movies that I've already mentioned, it's just an easy, fun movie to put on, fall asleep to. I don't think I'll ever watch this again, but it was fun enough, and after a long day of work, it was what I needed to just shut my brain off. Then we got Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas from 1997. I don't remember anything about this. I've actually watched this before, and I don't remember it. I'll probably end up watching it again and falling asleep to it. I think that's actually what I did. So moving on, Last Holiday from 2006. I'm not a fan of this movie. It's Queen Latifah, LL Cool J. There's a couple more people in it, but I can't remember. It's just a depressing movie that it tries to be uplifting, and it is uplifting, but by the end of the film, I'm just like, I don't like this. So moving on, 8 Crazy Nights from 2002. I almost said Andy Sandler. Adam Sandler, animated Hanukkah Christmas film. I really enjoyed it. We got Better Watch Out from 2016. This movie pissed me off way more than I remembered it pissing me off the first time. There's probably a reason why I didn't remember anything about this film, because it probably annoyed me the first time so much that I just kind of shut it out of my brain. I'm going to spoil it for those that kind of don't care. It is basically an R-rated Home Alone Christmas film. And it's kind of like a horror, but not really. But by the end of the film, the kid that is essentially the Kevin of this story, the Kevin McAllister of this story, he's the villain, and he ends up trying to kill his babysitter after his babysitter doesn't want to sleep with him. It's the biggest case of whiny bitch baby that you just like. I'm not for violence against kids, but this is one kid everybody would want to punch in the face. After that, I watched Krampus for the first time. I don't love it. I liked it. I thought there were some very cool aspects. The casting was phenomenal. I really, really do love Toni Collette and Adam Scott together. That was a weird pairing, but I liked it. Yeah, the casting's great. Set design was great. The costume design, the creature design, all that was fantastic. It was PG-13, so it did let me down personally. I think if I saw it when it came out, when I was 17, I might have been a little bit more nice to the film. But yeah, it's a fun watch. I would watch a sequel if they were to go the rated R route, and someday eventually someone will make another Krampus film and it'll be rated R, and I'll check that out and I'll probably like it more. But this, I would say, is a good starter horror film, especially for people that like Christmas. After that, watched P2 from 2007. This film is wild. It's a woman stuck in a parking garage trying to get away from a crazy person. I'm not going to say who if you want to go watch the film. There's one sequence using a car that is gnarly. The prosthetics, the goop that they use, it's gnarly. It's so gross. So gross, so gross, so gross. But as far as storytelling, acting, all that stuff, it's fine. It doesn't reinvent anything, doesn't do anything too new. It does a good job at creating suspense in one location. So another one location movie that, I am watching movies set in one location for a reason. I'll explain that later. Next up, we got Birth/Rebirth from 2023. This is one of my favorite horror films of 2023. Absolutely crazy. I don't know if I'm going to rewatch it anytime soon, or just because it's so memorable that I think I got to take a long, long while to really appreciate the twists and turns that this film presents, because it's dark. If I were a woman, I don't think I could watch this film. That's all. I mean, I'll be as honest as I can, because if I were a woman, I don't think I would be able to make it through this film. After that, Elf. Nothing more that I can say. I'm already going on 10 minutes, and I'm not even halfway through the month of December. So most of these movies, you guys already probably know that I love. I actually know what? I'm just going to say like it, love it, hate it, didn't like it. Let's move on. Elf. Love it. It's perfect. Moving on. Rudolph. I can't talk. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from 1948. This one was creepy as hell. I believe it's like 7 minutes long, something like that. But it was creepy. Will not watch again. The Grinch, 2018, fine. Not for me, fine. Polar Express, fine. I watch it every year. It's not crazy great. It's just an easy Christmas watch. Dream Scenario, not for me. Really kind of let down by it. The Holiday, I can't tell you. Oh, I do remember it now, but not for me. Past Lives, totally for me. Amazing, amazing film. Greta Lee totally deserves an Oscar nomination for this film. I haven't looked at the Oscar nominations yet, so we'll see. We'll see if she gets nominated. But Santa Claus is Coming to Town, 1970, great. Death and Ramen, the short film starring Bobby Lee, and I can't remember his name, but he's in Breaking Bad as Badger, and it's Death and Ramen. Just go watch it. It's like 10-15 minutes long on YouTube. It is a really good short film. I did not expect those acting chops from Bobby Lee. After that, Chronicles of the Witch. I cannot talk today. Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and Wardrobe. Haven't watched this probably since it came out in 2005. It is really good. Like, really, really good. There's some visuals that don't hold up, obviously, because it's nearly 20 years old. That's insane to think about. But I definitely want to continue finishing the trilogy of films that they have. Leave the World Behind. Cool ideas, not for me. How the Grinch Stole Christmas 2000, Jim Carrey, perfect. Christmas Vacation, perfect. Huesera, the Bone Woman. This movie is also another film that if I were a woman, I don't think I could watch this. This is another, it's a pregnancy horror film, so it's rough. Next up, the most depressing film of 2023, The Iron Claw. This film is actually a little bit more lighthearted than the true story. They cut out some bits from real life that would have made the film even darker than it is. So it's a great film. Zac Efron really deserves some recognition for his performance here. Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, it was fine. Don't need to see it again. Step Brothers, amazing, perfect. Home Alone, perfect. Beauty and the Beast, The Enchanted Christmas, again, I guess I probably fell asleep during this. I literally didn't know that I watched this twice in December. So next up, Christmas Story, perfect. The Sacrifice Game on Shudder, fine. It's The Holdovers meets Cults. All right, and then the final things of the month, we got Maestro. I didn't fully finish this film because it's just not for me. Bradley Cooper does a phenomenal job. I was really in it for Bradley Cooper's performance, but also Carey Mulligan. Like she's perfect in literally everything, but my favorite performance of hers has to be in Drive with Ryan Gosling. So, but anything that she's in, I'm going to check out. Bradley Cooper directing, I was interested. I wasn't a huge fan of A Star Is Born, but again, I'm still interested in what he does moving forward because he's taking his projects very seriously and he's also not doing the same thing over and over again. But I will say, it is kind of interesting that both of his films that he's directed revolve around music. So, moving on, Ferrari 2023, not for me. I do not think this film works. What happened? Office Space 1999, funnier than expected, but also doesn't hold up as well as it probably should for the times. And the final thing of the year that I watched on December 31st, on New Year's Eve, was Poor Things with Emma Stone. This movie was absolutely wild. If you do not like blood or gore or surgery, don't watch this. If you're uncomfortable with sex on the screen for an extended period of time over I think a 3-hour film, don't watch this. I enjoyed it. I am actually one person that, most times I think sex scenes are completely useless, that I really do find them so extremely annoying. But then there's certain cases like this, like in Poor Things, where it's an exploration of life. I don't want to give away too much of what this film is about if you haven't seen it. And if you like Yorgos Lanthimos, definitely go see it because it's very creative and quirky and weird, but it's very real messages. Yeah, it was a good way to end the year. I don't know if it's a film that I want to purchase necessarily, but like I was saying, I was still more so happy with the film and how it presented the sex scenes just because I'm not a fan of sex scenes. And for instance, 2022, my favorite movie of the year was X, which is about a group of people going to make a porno, and there's 3 or 4 sex scenes in that, and I think that movie works entirely. Like overall, I think it's perfect. So that's just one example where I think you can be proven wrong, but I was not expecting to like Poor Things as much as I did. It is gorgeous looking, and that's where I'm going to end this episode. I'm just hitting the 17-minute mark on my camera. Now I'm going to go shoot what I watched in January 2024. Go check that out because it's going to be out the same time that this episode is. So if you are watching now and you've made it all the way to the end of the episode, thank you guys so much. I'm Carter Scotland Allen, and I will see you guys later. Peace.